There is a place on Earth where the sea has no master. A stretch of water so violent, so untamed, that sailors' maps once simply marked it with the words, "Here be dragons." This is not a passage. It is a crucible. A place where the planet's two largest oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific, wage an eternal war. It's a liquid battleground where screaming winds race around the entire globe, unimpeded, only to be funneled into this one terrifying chasm. Waves here are not waves. They are liquid mountains rising from the abyss to swallow ships whole. This is the world's most feared body of water, a graveyard for over 800 ships, and the final resting place for more than 10,000 souls. This is the Drake Passage, and the stories it holds, both of unimaginable tragedy and impossible survival, will challenge everything you think you know about the power of the natural world. What force of nature is so powerful that it can toss a modern cruise ship like a toy, yet be crossed by desperate men in a tiny wooden lifeboat? The answer lies in a perfect storm of geography, physics, and history. If you crave stories that explore the untamed corners of our world, and the sheer audacity of the human spirit that dares to face them, then consider joining our community of explorers by subscribing. Your click helps us journey to more of these incredible places. Now, let us venture into the heart of the storm. To understand the Drake Passage, you must first picture our planet without it. For millions of years, a land bridge connected the southern tip of South America to the northern peninsula of Antarctica. Then, somewhere between 17 and 49 million years ago, the Earth's tectonic plates shifted violently. A gap opened. South America drifted north. Antarctica was left isolated at the bottom of the world, and for the first time, the oceans could circle the globe without obstruction. This monumental event gave birth to the single most powerful current on Earth, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, or ACC. Imagine a colossal river flowing clockwise around Antarctica, carrying more than 100 times the water of all the world's rivers combined. It's a planetary flywheel of cold, dense water, moving at a staggering 150 million cubic meters US. And for thousands of miles, this current builds momentums, an unstoppable force with no land to break its stride until it reaches the gap. Located between Cape Horn and Chile, the southernmost point of the Americas, and the South Shetland Islands of Antarctica, the Drake Passage is the narrowest point in this current's global journey. At just 600 millimeters, or 1,000 kilometers wide, it acts as a colossal funnel. All of that immense energy, all of that water, is squeezed through this gap. The result is a chaotic, violent acceleration. The seafloor itself adds to the turmoil. It's not a smooth channel, but a rugged landscape of underwater ridges and deep troughs, some plunging to depths of over 15,000 left. This uneven bottom churns the water from below, creating unpredictable, monstrous waves that have been measured at over 65 ft tall, the height of a 6-story building. But the water is only half the story. The winds, known to sailors as the Screaming 60s, also race unimpeded around the Southern Ocean, gathering ferocious speed. With nothing to slow them down, they slam into the Drake Passage with gusts regularly exceeding 70 mph, whipping the surface of the sea into a frenzy. It's this deadly combination, the planet's strongest current, a geographic bottleneck, a treacherous seafloor, and relentless global winds that creates the infamous Drake Shake. A sensation sailors described not as rocking, but as being put inside a washing machine during an earthquake. Despite these horrors, the passage is a vital artery. For centuries, before the Panama Canal, it was the only way for large ships to travel between the Atlantic and Pacific, without navigating the even more treacherous and narrow Strait of Magellan. Today, it is the gateway to the last continent. Every year, research vessels and tourist expeditions depart from Ushuaia, Argentina, the southernmost city in the world, and steel themselves for the 2-day crossing to Antarctica. At Cape Horn, a striking monument stands in silent tribute to the 10,000 mariners who gambled against the Drake and lost. Their stories are a testament to the passage's unforgiving nature. Ironically, the man for whom the passage is named, the English explorer Sir Francis Drake, never actually sailed through it. In 1578, while navigating the Strait of Magellan, one of his ships was blown far south by a storm, proving that there was open water below the continent. But the first to see it was likely the Spanish navigator Francisco de Hawk in 1525, which is why in Spain and other parts of the world it is called the Marred Hawk, the first to intentionally sail. It was the Dutchman William Schouten in 1616 who officially rounded Cape Horn and opened this new, wider, but far more dangerous route to the world, and the world soon learned of its dangers. In 1819, the Spanish warship Centelmo, part of a squadron sent to crush independence movements in Peru, was last seen battling a ferocious storm deep within the passage. The ship vanished with all 644 men aboard. Wreckage later found on Livingston Island suggests that some may have survived the sinking, potentially becoming the very first humans to ever set foot on Antarctica, only to perish in its desolate landscape. Theirs is a ghost story, a haunting mystery at the bottom of the world. Yet out of this litany of death comes the single greatest survival story ever told. In 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton's expedition to cross Antarctica became trapped in the pack ice of the wet sea. For 10 months, his ship, the Endurance, was slowly crushed by the ice before finally sinking, leaving 28 men stranded on a floating ice floe. After months of drift, they reached the desolate Elephant Island. From there, Shackleton and 5 of his men made a desperate, impossible choice. They took a 22 FT open lifeboat, the James Caird, and set sail across 800 meters of the Drake Passage to seek help in South Georgia. For 16 days in a tiny boat never designed for the open ocean, they were battered by hurricane-force winds and waves the size of cliffs. They were constantly soaked in freezing water, bailing for their lives as ice caked the boat, threatening to sink it. It was a journey so perilous that even today, with all our modern technology, it seems like pure fiction. Yet, miraculously, they made it. Shackleton secured a rescue, and every single man from the Endurance survived. In a stunning epilogue to their story, the wreck of the Endurance was discovered in 2022, nearly 10,000 FT below the surface. In astonishingly pristine condition, a silent monument preserved in the cold, dark deep. You might think that with modern ships and satellite weather forecasting, the Drake has been tamed. You would be wrong. As recently as 2022, the Viking Polaris, a state-of-the-art cruise ship specifically designed for polar exploration, was crossing the passage when a rogue wave, a wall of water appearing from a calm sea, struck the vessel. It shattered the reinforced windows of several cabins, tragically killing one passenger and injuring several others. This incident is a chilling reminder that no matter how advanced our technology becomes, the Drake Passage operates by its own rules. The ocean is stronger than us, and there is one final silent danger lurking in these waters. Icebergs. Not the small chunks of ice you might imagine, but colossal floating mountains of it. These behemoths break off from Antarctica's ice shelves and drift north into the shipping lanes. In 2021, an iceberg designated A76 Cal from the continent. One of its largest fragments, A76A, was over 80 Boltus long. It had a surface area twice the size of London. This single city-sized block of ice drifted for thousands of kilometers right through the heart of the Drake Passage. For a ship captain, navigating through storms and monstrous waves is one thing. Doing so while trying to avoid a collision with a silent, ghostly assassin the size of a small country is a nightmare of a different order. Captains who make this journey are a special breed. They do not fight the Drake. They negotiate with it. They study weather patterns for days, looking for a brief window of relative calm. They alter their course not for speed, but for survival, angling the ship to meet the waves in the least damaging way. They respect its power. The Drake Passage is more than just water. It is a living, breathing entity, a violent gatekeeper to the pristine wilderness of Antarctica. It is a place of profound dread and profound beauty, a constant, humbling reminder of our small place in a vast and powerful world. It challenges all who dare to cross it, and in doing so, it ensures that the continent at the end of the world remains one of the last true wild places on Earth.